Bearded Hikes here. I'm here with Corey, Bigfoot the Truth Told. He's already been featured on a past video where we explored Palm Island Park. And today we're actually going to be doing some exploring out here in Rock Springs Run. There used to be an old town here, late 1800s, early 1900s, called Ethel. And you'd never know it, but back in these woods are some of the old roads and trails to get there. We're going to kind of hike around and go into some of these less explored areas, see if we can respectfully enjoy and appreciate and find and locate some of these old remnants of the past. Beautiful day. We have, you know, we're in the low 80s right now. It's only not even 10 a.m. So it's going to be a hot one with some of this tree coverage. I think we're going to be okay. Keep up. Coming along this grade here, you can see like some obvious impressions of, again, another old road here. This one looks a little more traveled. Not a very hard hike. Some knee-high weeds and foliage and brush that you got to walk through, but I think other than that, a really reasonable hike just to see the cemetery. The cemetery has been unfortunately vandalized quite a few times. There was a number of headstones here. Oh, here's the gate. Oh, unfortunately over time, teenagers came through and people who had nefarious thoughts came through and they took down some of the tombstones, and I believe there's only 3 still standing today, which is pretty sad. So there's actually 29 people buried here, only 3 headstones still standing. It's kind of sad, honestly, as you walk up on this, because you can't help but feel like, you know, it's a cemetery, so these things should be respected. Have some very cool. Sorry about the wind noise. We have quite a gust going on here today. I'm hoping that it's not choking out the whole video. This is very old here. This Luke H. Moore, January 3rd, 1876 to October 6, 1914. Woodman of the World Memorial.
Maybe that was his craft.
Yeah, maybe he was. I mean, hey, we're in an area where there was a lot of loggers, logging operations.
This is not wood. This is
This looks like a cast of a real wood piece. Although I'm not a professional on the subject, there's a spot here for somebody to place flowers. Let's see what else is over here. There's a even smaller one here. This is Joseph A. Boyd, son of James H. Minnie L. Boyd, December 22nd, 1917 to February 2nd, 1918. February 2nd's my birthday. Gone but not forgotten. It says, looks like it's been hand scribbled into the bottom.
Looks like somebody placed a flower.
Yeah, it looks like we have somebody that came out and placed a flower.
I wonder how long ago that was. It's a fake flower, but the fact that somebody came here to place that.
It's all the same. Pretty cool. Just walking around this tree here, we have one more gravestone. Oh, my apologies. This is 2 gravestones. This is a father and mother. W.M. Moore, born June 9th, 1800. Died January 5th, 1882. He was beloved by God and man. Charlotte B., wife of W.M. Moore, born January 23rd, 1813, died June 6th, 1883. Can't quite make that out.
You know, that's super disrespectful to do that, but also now we've lost
All this history.
all of the history. That's a super important thing.
All the people that are buried here are, you know, the original founders of Ethel. All these people, all 29 bodies buried here, whether you could see them or not, all inhabited this town or had some sort of a connection to the town that we're looking for today. So you can almost imagine when this would have been a cemetery in 1880 and you would have had horse and buggy come through with the body, people lining up here to send off their loved one to the other side. Have to apologize for the wind again out here. We are in the middle of some flat plains. There's really not a whole lot to block it out. So we're gonna head down this way and see if it'll help a little bit. Hiking out here in the open fields, come across this old, it's like an area where they would have kept something. There's 4 posts here. This might have, at one point, these are definitely old.
Barbed wire, for sure.
At one point, this might have been some land back here. Could be walking along the edge of what used to be a property here. Seems to run like the perimeter of this whole area. Oh, I see something. We have some things laying back here. We're gonna go see what they are. Yeah, this doesn't look very old. I'm not sure what I'm looking at here.
Refrigerators.
Okay, Corey says it's a refrigerator. It is. You can
bottom.
definitely see it is a refrigerator. Yeah, there's the door handle right there. Have this old refrigerator here. Doesn't look to be.
You can tell by the it's 70s, 50s.
Right. Yeah, good observation. Corey's saying by the styling of this handle, you can kind of tell that this is only from the 70s or 80s. We're gonna go ahead and keep hiking and exploring some of this natural wilderness around us and see what remnants of the past still lie out here.
Oh, here's another thing.
We just came across something else. Have an old pipe here.
Oh, there's a lot of pipes here.
Seems like there's a lot of pipes laying around.
Something was here before.
This looks almost like, I don't want to call it a foundation, but I do. There's a
wood.
Yeah, some things going back here. Yeah, there definitely was something here. We're not quite sure what it was. Saw some pipes in the ground, as you were able to see. However, we don't really have an explanation. And that's probably going to be how a lot of the stuff is that we find. We're not really going to know what we're looking at. And going to have to kind of rely on some of the comments and people who watch this video to let us know what they think.
Bro, look what I found.
What's up? What is that?
Phone.
A whole phone?
Whole phone.
Corey found a whole phone out here. No way. Seems kind of odd.
It's been weathered. It's been through the ringer. You know, this phone's been weathered. It's here. This looks like some sort of Android. But I mean, everything, like this is supposed to be a button. It's hard to the touch. Like,
So it's been out here for a long time.
it's been out here. It's been rained on, weathered on. Just sitting right there. So, that's unique.
You want to go ahead and take that with you? We don't want to leave stuff like this out here because...
Yeah, we'll go ahead and toss this. I know a lot of times people like to leave stuff where they were, like those metal pipes and stuff like that, but this is technology. This doesn't need to be out here.
Right.
We'll take this away.
Hiking through some of these old forested areas out here. Appears to be an old windmill. Dates back to sometime in the 1940s. It's still back here to this day. Could very clearly see the defined shape of this thing.
windmill. It looks like the fan for the windmill.
Corey says he found some of the fans from the windmill. Yeah, look at that.
Right here, too.
Just kind of fell right into the dirt over time. All the way up at the top there, you can just barely make out the mechanism that would have the fans coming off of it up there. It's almost like an old erector set.
And if I was a betting man, I would say that this tree, the way it grew into the windmill, helps it stay standing.
Yeah, it's almost like the tree went from being a nuisance to a support for the windmill. This tree right here to the behind it. Very cool.
Right in front of you.
Oh, look at that. Oh man. See, this is why you got to be real careful out here. That was pretty sweet. Found this old game trail back here. Leads to all this open area. Prime spot for hunting hogs and turkey. We saw some turkey as we came back here, kind of trekking through, about 6 or 7 of them in a group. It is pretty gorgeous out here though. Looks like we're almost in Africa or something, huh?
It's weird. I love it.
The wind died down a lot. We're here walking along the old Ethel Railroad line. You can almost see where the raised ground is here. Would have been white rocks, and a train line would have ran right on top there. Obviously it's been ripped out over time, but it makes for a really good shaded walk through the woods on the way to where we're going. Walking along this road out here in the middle of Rock Springs Run, can't help but to think how this is really how most Florida roads looked when Florida was first being settled into, and the rise of home building and tourism came to Florida. This is really what it was. You have a lot of dirt roads here, trees on both sides, a railroad leading in and out of town, which we were just hiking on right along this path. And this was it. No street lights, no sidewalks. It's almost like you're waiting for a Model T to come around the corner so you can get out of the way. We're gonna go ahead and keep following along this railroad grade, see if we can find any remnants, as we previously mentioned. Now Corey's walking back towards something that we found. We're walking along, exploring out here in Rock Springs Run. Something caught his eye. Looks like there appears to be some sort of a makeshift shelter out in the middle of the woods here from fallen palm fronds and a couple of the things that you could pick up off the ground. Let's go explore this and see what we're looking at here.
Ross, what do you think about that?
That sure is
unique, right?
That sure is a find right there. Wow, that is pretty unique, folks. Somebody spent some time out here. If you look really closely, you can see where they've taken some of these original palm fronds, tied them in knots around this here so that it had some stability. Judging by some of the spider webs in here, I don't think anybody's been staying recently, but I think Corey and I can't help but to wonder who would have built this. This is obviously clean cut from a saw, a hand saw or something. Looks like a hand saw. The only reason I say that, you have these vertical lines which would indicate somebody sawed back and forth, and it's getting deeper and deeper and deeper. So this is from a hand saw, and we have some, old wood twigs, and I mean, really, it's just incredible to look at. But we're gonna keep it going. As cool as it is, As awesome as it is, I follow the leave no trace rule, which means we're gonna leave it exactly how we found it so that the next person who does some exploring out here can come across it and have the same experience.